All right. All right, my friends, and good evening. I am Dawn Thompson, and welcome to the Truth Tribe. I want to thank you guys for being here. Those of you who are here, those of you who are going to slide in late. There's no right or wrong in these calls. I just want you to know you're perfect exactly where you are in this now moment, and there is nothing wrong with you. And remember that I love you. So, as we're going to do, I know it is a holiday. I didn't expect many, if any of you to show up, but I know this will be on your recording replay, so you can watch this throughout the week. The reason I'm doing this is because we have a full moon coming up and I wanted you to understand it as it appears. All right, so welcome those of you who are showing up on the holiday. I love you and thank you for showing up. So let's get started. We're going to do a mini. This is not going to be a long call tonight, so I don't want you guys to think, oh my gosh, why is this so short? So it's only for the intention of keeping you guys updated on the energy that's taking place. So tonight's call, everything is your energy now. Everything is now. And this is something that is not easy for people to understand. So how is everything energy now? Okay, that's the big question everybody wants to know. So one of the big things is over the last few weeks, there's been, just for myself in general, and then of course this weekend happened right with this holiday weekend. And so one thing I noticed being at a lot of social events is that I noticed that so many people are pulling their heads up and they're waking up to truth. Now, this is amazing because I've been, awake for so long, and not that I'm doing better or worse. It's just like, oh, yay, everybody's joining in and seeing truth. Okay. And so the challenge that I see with this, that everybody's starting to wake up, is that there is one old habit that's still holding on. And this old habit that is still holding on is that many are feeling it's like a ball and chain. Okay. And this habit that's hanging on, they're holding on to it. It's like they're not cutting it. And it's a little bit what's left weighting people down. And so when this happens, they have the ball and chain of, when this happens, then I'll be happy. It's that old habit. Okay. This is a separation belief mindset. Okay. And the separation belief mindset is something that's not easy for people to deal with, because it's believing that you are separate from all that is. All right. And so it's not something we've been taught. So I'm not asking any of you to go, wow, I totally get this. But when you wake up and you realize the truth of the reality that you've been living kind of with your head in the clouds, and then all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, I've been believing that I'm separate from all that is around me, and you're not. Okay. It's an old lack belief system and it's dying, but it's been habitual. So now it's time to cut that ball and chain, which helps you come back to everything that's happening around us is on a grid, like the Matrix, all through the universe, out into multiple galaxies, as I've taught you all. Okay. Everything that's happening is now in your energy field, because you're connected to everything. It's now. Everything you believe, everything you think about, everything you meditate on, and you do yoga and you're healing and you're befriending, and what you spend your energy on, and your social circles and your physical environment, your physical bodies right now. Okay. Oh, hello, beautiful. So I'm so excited to see several of you on this call. I wasn't sure how many of you guys would jump in, so it's good to see you guys. So everything that's happening in your physicality that you can see, feel, hear, touch is right now. Okay. So how you engage in this now moment is how you are manifesting your ongoing now reality. Okay. Things seem like the future and then, or the past, right? They seem like that happened in the past. This is going to happen in the future, but is really all happening right now. And it's not an easy concept, right? So I want to get very clear about that, because what's coming up, and I'll talk about the planetary update coming up, everything that you reminisce on from the past, everything that you worry on that happened in the past, or everything you seek, or everything you dream of or expect to happen in the future is now. So how you choose your truth creates matching thoughts. So here's your truth in the higher realms of your consciousness. My truth creates thoughts that become things, your physical body, your physical experiences in your now moment. So if it's your truth and your belief, it's now. Okay. And so here's an example. Okay. Because I know this is just something a little bit out there, but and I'm going to ask you guys for Q&A if you want, those of you who popped on the call. Here's an example of the future out there is now, right? Because people keep telling me when that happens, this is how it's going to be. When this goes down, this is how it's going to be. When I get there, when I make money, when I get a new job, when, if then. Okay. So just think about your physical house or your home, right? My husband and I just purchased a new home, and although, right, new flooring is scheduled out 8 weeks, it's what we want right now. So it's already in our energy field of things. Just because it's not literally on the floor that we're standing on, we've already chose it. So it's still part of our now energy. We see it, we know it, it's just not in the physical stepping on, but it's still in our now energy. So because you can't see it yet, it's still part of now. Think of relationships. If you're married, let's start with married, I'll do dating. But what if you're married and you want a healthy, loving marriage, right? But you think about it from this perspective, you must choose what you are committed to in this now moment. Right now, what am I committed to forever and evermore with this spouse? So the future outcome of a healthy foundational love is always created in this now as you move into any reality. Here's your spouse, here's you, and you're connected and you're committed, right? So every experience that you move into from this point forward is healthy love now, even in the storms. That's how marriage works if you're committed to an intentional experience. Dating, right? You must act as if you're dating your perfect partner now. Each date, that might not be who you want to be with. Can you be in the now moment of just, it's simply a fun social experience, right? To see if you're committed to that truth that you're always going to live in the now, not making them like, I hear this a lot on dating, and it's like not making them their excuse, or your excuse, I should say, to bitch about what's wrong with them. You're looking for what everyone tells you is so bad about dating, instead of what your truth is. And to speak it into every experience you engage in every now moment of dating, right? In your health. I want to feel good, and I want to find every person, place, thing, experience to create the best outcome of vibrant energy now. Okay. My business, think of it that way. I want to support others. And how do I support others in meditating the way I teach meditation journaling? Okay. Remember, I tell you, I close my eyes, I start meditating, and I ask Spirit to tell me, what is it we're going to talk about? Right. And so I figured out a way to make it easy for myself to do that. And not when the conditions were easier to give it to me, so I would have time, so I could create this journal, so I could give it to the world, then I would be happy to make it into reality. I didn't do that, right? I just knew it's my truth that helps me now, so it will help others too. So Spirit aligned my truth with the reality, helping everyone as well. That the meditation journal I shared with you last week, by the way, it's on Amazon. I'll share it with you at the end of the call. So there's no need for me to know how. It just arrived as my truth. The universe has set me in alignment with a book, with a house, with friends that match my truth, because it's always now that I live that truth. This is the big one I want to share with you guys. Okay, Spirit. And it's very hard because religion has really messed with humans. It's really messed with people. Stop with this heaven and hell bullshit. Okay, heaven and hell are right now. Okay, you must choose heaven now and align with every belief that matches your heaven right now. Your reality will then appear out of the blue with things to match it, even with source consciousness. I'm not talking about God and source, because you all know I talk to God all day long, right? Source, spirit, universe. I do. So I'm asking you to think about the whole boxed doctrine, indoctrinated, you're a bad person living in hell and you're never going to be enough because you're a sinner and you're bad. It's total bullshit. That's not heaven. That's not who you are. That's not who you beautiful souls want to be. So now I want you to start living in the now moment requires you to ask this question. I want you to all, if you all have a piece of pen or paper who are on this call, write this question down, or at least write the answer, okay? Who is telling you no, you can't do that? Anything you want to do, you want to get healthier, you want to talk to spirit in a different way, you want to have a home, you want to have a marriage, a better dating, you want to be in love, better job, whatever it is, okay? Who is telling you no, you can't do that? Because the way they've always done it, and that's what society and the boxes and the TV wizards are telling you, I want you to write down who is telling you no, you can't do that, and write down their name. Seriously, whether it's your spouse, your boss, your doctor, your clergy, your friends, whoever is telling you, if you do this, then that will happen, or if this happens, then their hell answers, and their hell answers are coming out and scaring you, causing you to be in fear or danger. Step away and choose a greater truth instead. Step away from whoever's telling you to be afraid. Why? Because they're projecting their own heaven or hell. They're projecting their hell belief system onto you. And this whole human experience is a simulation of your truth, period. So if your higher truth was programmed and indoctrinated and downloaded to shitty teaching, shitty education, programming that was hell-based, they're going to project that onto you, even though they want more, they're trying more, they're searching for more. I'm telling you, ask who is telling you, no, you can't do that. Write down their name and step away. Doesn't mean you don't love them, doesn't mean you don't, dance around them. I'm saying step away because they're projecting out their fear-based, and you have a greater truth instead. So this whole human experience, remember, is a simulation of your truth. So it benefits you to review your poorly set truths into healthy new truths of love right now. No waiting, no wondering, no hoping, no wonder if this happens, then that will happen. Your ego may believe that others, right? Hearing when others tell you, oh, that's what they said. So that means hearing that means you can't. And it'll try to convince you that that's true, right? But your soul, my friends, your higher truth, your higher self, your soul's like, yeah, that's bullshit. You can do 10 times more than that, and you know it. It knows. It doesn't ask for permission. So cut the spiritual bypassing, cut the spiritual sidestepping, because that's what's happening. Right? Even gurus, teachers, even me. You're like, God, what's she talking about? Sidestep it, override it, look for more. If what she's talking about is true, can it be true for me? Yes. But you have to search for you because you're beautiful and perfect in your own belief. So you need to shift some of it and cut the ball and chain. So you are manifesting everything you think about, and it's been indoctrinated into you. Okay, so all of your wanted and your unwanted. Can you believe that? We talked about this a couple calls ago. You're so powerful, you're manifesting everything you don't want. And if you can do that, you can manifest everything you do want from your soul of heaven. So repeatedly sharing with someone what you don't want, my friends, goes and does nothing for what the reality you want to live in, for the heaven you want to live in. Telling people all the time, I don't want this, I don't want that, I don't want this health, I don't want this poke anymore. Oh, that's coming up now and it's not good for you. Oh, I don't want to eat this anymore. Oh, we're finding out that's not good for you. Oh, I don't want to have this type of medicine anymore. Oh, I want to have natural. I want to have healthy. Oh, we're coming up with all these ways to go, wait a minute, my heaven would be to do it this way, then do it. And don't worry about what someone tells you was old indoctrinated programming. Okay, so you have to choose. If I'm telling people what I don't want, it's going to go against all of your parameters of the reality you want. So telling others about your terrible online dating does not align with the boyfriend that you desire, right? You are creating everything, okay, truth, thoughts, things in your reality. So if you say you don't want a healthy, let's say an unhealthy marriage, You don't want arguing. You don't want to be a doormat. You don't want to be used anymore. Think about it. You say that, right? You tell people that. You tell your friends, you tell your family, you tell your parents, you tell your spouse, I don't want that anymore. You don't want any of those things. Saying I don't want means nothing to the universe, to God, to spirit, to source. So it just keeps sending you more experiences of things you do not want because you were speaking, get ready, in that frequency. The words doormat, delusional, destructive, unloving vibrate at unwanted energy, unhealthy hell energy. And you want to vibrate and speak words that vibrate at loving heaven energy. Words mean nothing comparison to frequency matching of all your wants, or the unwanted experiences. Okay. So unwanted and wanted are on different planes of existence. So you can physically hear the different tone in speaking each. One is heaven and one is hell. I know you can hear, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Those of you make a comment down here, I'm happy with that. You have to look and go, oh my gosh, it's heaven or it's hell in its tone. Okay, so pay attention to how often you speak about the things that you actually want to other people and avoid commiserating, because that's what's creating more. Speak from your authentic soul, my friends. Share that with others repeatedly. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to get. This is what I'm looking for. And this is what I'm going to continue seeking until I reach my destination. It's up to you with what reality you and truth that you want to live in now, wanted or unwanted. Okay, so self-check your conversations. How do those conversations sound? Do they vibrate? The vibration of just how they sound is enough. Do they vibrate the sound of healthy or unhealthy? Heaven or hell is right now at all times. There's no past or future, right? It's always right now. In this 1 second, in this 1 minute from right now, it will still be your right now, right? Because when you get to a second from now, it's still now. Do y'all get that? In a minute, it's still your now. So choose your now clean and clear right now. And when you start realizing, holy cow, if I choose my truth and that is not negotiated, this is how I speak at all times. That's the manifested energy that goes from truth to thoughts to things in your reality, which creates a reality of existence in that vibrational frequency. Cool? Does that make sense why everything is right now? And we didn't even realize it. So we are the masters of living in that old broken down society, broken down situations, broken down creations. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay. So when we're manifesting those things, we have to understand that that is the creation of it. Someone just said last week when you said we manifest worry, etc., was very impactful for me. I have watched each word and selected only higher uplifting words, yay, to create my now. It has been so powerful and changes are happening so fast. Oh my gosh, I love that. Thank you for sharing. That is so freaking cool. So listen to how cool this is. Like I said, tonight's going to be a short call. We're going to do about 30 minutes because I know we're on holiday. But I didn't want to forget, this is why I did the call, because of our update. So on Thursday, pretty sure on Thursday's the 1st, I'm pretty sure. Is it the 1st? Yeah, Thursday's the 1st. The full moon is on June 3rd. Okay. I want to make sure. Let me make sure I'm not telling you guys some, oh, I'm sorry, Saturday. Okay. So Saturday on June 3rd, okay, this Saturday coming up, we have a full moon in Sagittarius, okay? And it's forming 2 astrological patterns known as a T-square. So it's like this, okay? The first is an opposition formed between the sun and the moon. That's how you make a full moon, right? The moon's here and the sun's here, and then the sun shines all its light on the moon and it makes it full, okay? And it has a square to Saturn, okay? And so the second opposition that's happening is between Mars and Pluto, and it's squaring Jupiter, which is the ruling planet of Sagittarius. Okay, so we have this, you don't have to know too much about astrology, but I'm just letting you know there's two very strong T's, which means it's a right angle. Okay, this is a right angle, two of them. And so there's this intentional energy happening. And so Sagittarius, full moon, remember full moons rule closure, putting closure to things, bringing light to the darkness and showing us things we hadn't seen before. Okay. And so Sagittarius is known as a sign of positivity and growth and adventure. It's also the sign of philosophy and doctrines and beliefs. Okay. So I was bringing this up. Okay. And spiritual freedom. Okay. So the freedom to believe the doctrines or heaven that you want to believe instead of some bullshit that you were taught to live in a box. Okay. So it's also rules travel and knowledge, wisdom, learning something bigger. So I'm trying to blast you guys, blow your minds out here. Okay. See something more. And so with these two powerful patterns forming in the sky over this full moon, there's this sense that Sagittarius may become somewhat of like this cosmic battle. Like it's like this, the Sagittarian square and the full moon opposition square. We find ourselves fighting for our own freedom, pushing against where we feel limited. Okay. Navigating our insecurities or dealing with like things like exhaustion. Does that make sense? So reflecting on our personal journey. So I want you guys to go back a couple of months. Okay. And again, please don't get, all of you on this calls, you all know I don't do specific date detail because I think things can overlap energetically, planetarily for months to weeks to days. Okay. So just look at this as a couple months ago. Okay. I want you to reflect on your personal journey and look and it's the key to clarity around what's occurring and what's unfolding for you, what you've been working on to get clarity for. Because that's what you're going to open up on this full moon and go, oh, that's what I wanted. Yes. And you're going to let everything go that isn't that. And you're going to cut that ball and chain that you don't want, though. All that hell, all the bullshit, because this is a very powerful, good luck, freedom energy. Full moons are typically closure, but closure is good because once you let go of the ball and chain, ta-da, right? So T squares right now are very special because they're allowing for character building of yourself in success, right? And we put it in when you've been putting it to work. Okay. So seeing that Saturn, the Saturn square, okay, is at the middle of one of these points. And this energy is going to be very powerful. Why? Because Saturn is about work. Saturn is about foundation and stability and the discipline it takes for you to go, no, I'm going to work for heaven. This is my truth. This is what I'm going to do. And you're not going to negotiate with me. These boundaries that you need to create, especially due to the fact that Saturn is traversing in this boundaryless sign of Pisces. Pisces is wishy-washy, but it also says dream big. It says, go into the heaven of your mind. That's what Pisces is. It's sitting down here at the base of this T, and it's sitting in Pisces. It says, dream as big as you can because, baby, we're bringing it to you. So there's this strong spiritual emphasis at this full moon on Saturday in Sag. Those of you who are Sag, so think of if you're a Sag sun, rising or moon. It's probably going to be a little more potent for you than others as well. Okay. So there's a strong spiritual emphasis for this, right? And it may be that we need to release those outdated patterns I was just discussing, old doctrines and ideologies and belief systems and boxes of thinking, however hard it may be, because you're just like, but that's how I've always done it. And my answer is like, then it's okay, because I promise it's going to be so much better because it's going to be heaven instead. It's time to step up and reclaim your inner guru, right? Rather than continue looking outside of ourselves for guidance. I'm just the delivery of the tools and the maps. You guys are going to step onto the highway and you're going to go. Okay. So owning your truth right now is so important, my friends. Facing our mistakes, our shortcomings, which you all know I teach on my website. Just go look at your hotspots. The courses, the digital courses are there now. Go, if you have the truth or if you have the warrior pass, you have access to all those classes. If you don't have that, you can take them individually or go get on the warrior path and get into the hot spots and look at your shortcomings. Find forgiveness for yourself. That's what's really important right now. Forgive yourself. Go, oh my God, I didn't know any better. I do now because Dawn told me I can dream big. Okay. So accept your limits. That's right now is the mark of growth at this full moon. Okay. So this free spirit Sagittarius is the sign that Sagittarius struggles to commit to anything, but Saturn, as I told you, okay, it's looking down on us and it's looming down on us with responsibilities that are unavoidable. So you have no choice but to do both. Dream big, be disciplined, and then do not negotiate with the foundation that you've chosen as your truth. We will all be rewarded for accepting this, right? For our own acceptance, accepting yourself, okay? That is, if you open up to the possibility that the energy is working for you, not against you, when you feel like things are pulling away, or if you're the one taking the hatchet to that ball and chain and you're like, oh, I don't know what to do with all this hell and destruction and negative thinking, it's gone. So who am I? Sometimes I watch people, clients, myself included, when things are too good, I'm kind of like, something's not right here. And the answer is that's total bullshit. I deserve to have all these amazing things. I've been through hell to get here. Okay. So your lesson, my friends, during this full moon is to make peace with the conflicting beliefs of separation that we have been taught into our own reality that's no longer true anymore, okay? To balance your faith and logic and reason. Okay, so the logic and reason and faith going, this is my logic, this is my truth, this is my reason, this is where I'm going to stay. To accept that with the greatest freedom comes great responsibility for your now truth, right now. So the potential for growth at this time, you guys, is exponential, infinite, beyond measure possible. Okay. Yet we have to remember that no major thing, no major accomplishment comes without growing pains. So I want you to understand when you do release, it will be uncomfortable, but it is so good for you. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay. Really quick. Like I said, we're going to keep the call short. I've got some questions coming in, so I'll answer those and then we'll go from, I'll let you guys kind of cruise into your evening, but right here, let everybody real quick, tap into your thymus. Remember, this is your central nervous system. It is where your, where all the healing work starts, where a lot of your immune center is centered. Repeat after me. I am courage. I am love. I am truth. I am courage. I am love. I am truth. Okay, cool. All right, your challenge this week while into this full moon is that I want you to start asking yourself, are there beliefs that I've been holding on to that are actually keeping me shackled to something I don't need to believe anymore because I know there's something so much bigger. And you just personally have to forgive yourself. I didn't know any better, but now I do. Okay, just ask yourself that. Okay, so I'm going to open up the Q&A. If anybody wants to explain where they can see where they've been accepting these unwanted realities that they didn't see they were designing or creating, but now they want to upgrade. You're like, oh my gosh, I totally believe that system and I want to upgrade. And you don't have to, but if you do, I've got a, comment. Let's see. You explained so clearly about heaven and hell statements. Thank you. I sat next to you on the plane. Oh, I love this. Thank you, Emily. This is so awesome. I am so blessed when I get to meet people like this. When I meet people on an airplane. So thank you, that you were so sweet. Next question. Thank you, Dawn. Congratulations. Oh, thank you on my new home. I'm excited. So here's a question that came in, and it again goes into, there's a lot of people I was meeting this weekend, even my friends, that were discussing dating. So someone else made a comment, such an important reminder. It's easy to fall back into bad habits of talking negative. So true. And she's right. I do it. I'm like, oh man, and I literally have to be in this now moment. Is that what I want? No. And so we all fall for it. So don't please, again, this is forgive yourself. I forgive myself right now. Okay, I'm better. I'm back. Like you gotta be loving. You gotta take care of your heart. Okay. So this question says is, how do we really change dating if it really is crappy? I get it. This is the power of now. You are aligning. I want you to understand you're an energetic frequency of a field of energy. I know the physical body looks so real, but we're really just energetic beings in this physical body. And the physical body is actually made up of energy as well. It's just that each energy makes up a heart, and it makes up a liver and a head and, you know, an arm. And it's just an energetic body in physical format. Okay. So you are aligning with your own heaven or hell, even if you have not addressed it. Those who are struggling with crappy dating. Okay. So if you don't listen to your bitching and your moaning and finding out who you are and want to be, and you only speak that, i.e. the courses that I was talking about on my website, if you don't go look at what your hotspots are in your astrological blueprint of your personality, and you don't look at that and say, you're right, I do kind of talk about those weak spots a lot. Okay. If you don't know who you are and you keep speaking about what you don't want, yes, you get the hell of dating, right? It was only that there was nothing is new. People are like, it's so bad in online dating. And this, what's crazy for me to explain to all of you is it was the same way when there were no phones, or when you had to walk to go meet your date, or there were no cars and you couldn't drive to them. And so you had to ride your bike, or there was limited communication. You figured it out. You sent letters. Nothing has changed but the vehicle you are using. I loved dating before I met my husband. I met some wonderful people, just not aligned with me, right? Until I met my husband. But it wasn't hell. It was fun because it was very clear about my heavenly commitment to what I deserved. And I didn't take it personally when they didn't want the same thing as me. Right? So stop accepting others' personal hells to fill in your void because you're lonely or you're sad or you don't like who you are. So you're going to go look for someone else to commiserate with. Choose your heaven and stay in unmoving and like so strong in your resolve that nothing can move you from that truth. Watch what happens. It's gorgeous, but you gotta walk into it in love with like life. This is who I am, and it's okay. You don't want what I want, but that's all right. It's gonna be all right. That's okay to let people be who they are. But if you keep showing up with crappy hell dating experiences, what happens? You have to look at that as the energy frequency you're passing out and matching, heaven or hell. But if you're not telling them this is my heaven, and like, oh, that's not what I'm interested in, then they won't know how to match you back. That heaven won't show up because it's a frequency. It's a frequency to the words that you speak. Cool? Does that make sense? Yeah? Cool. Okay. Let's see. This next one says, why is there, what does it say? Why is there a past and a future if there is only now? Okay. I know you guys get tripped up on this whole past and future thing. I'm going to do the best I can with this and keeping it simple. Okay. Because you were told that there is a linear time. And I have shared with you on so many of these Truth Tribe calls, and you can go back to the last 3 years. We've talked about this since all this stuff's gone down. Okay. I have shared with you that you are spiritual beings having a physical experience. So it's happening. All of it's happening now, right? It's all a choice in the now that you choose to accept over and over and over. You just forgot that you have this power to manifest it all now your way and not others' ways, right? Whoever their ways are, okay? And you were never taught this until now that you can choose which way. So now I want you to take off the linear. Now I want you to imagine that there's boxes, right, of longitude, latitude all around us. And I've taught you guys this. Imagine you have this this field of energy around you that continues to go out into multiple galaxies. But let's just say that energy is in longitude, latitude. So you can imagine those highways run up into outer space, and then who knows how many galaxies away, right? Well, let's just say you're on this highway and you're going into these multiple generations, multiple galaxies, but you're on all these, you've been on all these highways and intersections of experiences in multiple lifetimes. I'm going to call it thousands of lifetimes. So you've had those now moments connecting to you right now, playing right now. which means you can go back and pick those 10 lifetimes that were asshole hell, living hells that you lived in and replay them. Or you can choose all the lifetimes that were living heavens and play them now. Or you can not worry about any of those lifetimes and decide right now, what is your heaven, and choose it and do not negotiate. That's it. So there is no past and future because they're all now. Remember, future is in 1 second, it's still now. In 1 minute, it's still now. And in 1 hour and 1 day and 1 month, it's still going to be your now moment. So you're going to have to start choosing heaven. I choose heaven for all of you. When I do my meditation journal and I ask Spirit, what do we talk about? Today was it, because of, I'm sure it coincides a lot of, like I said, with the energy. And like I said, the full moon in Sag on Saturday, that's going to really impact all of us. It's hitting on the Earth's axis, the United States birth chart. It's sitting on all these major alignments. So when that happens and it blows up, it's going to be very bright for all of you. So this energy, when I meditate and I write it down, I'm like, oh, we're just going to talk about the now. And I don't mean just like, oh, live in the now moment. No, I don't mean live in the now moment. I'm like, choose your now moment in heaven. Choose the heaven you want to live in. And I mean on all levels, financially, spiritually, marriage. I'm a big believer in marriage and relationships. It's total bullshit what you're being sold right now about, separation or not. Like I said, my husband and I, we are always two ships passing in the wind, but we have the best marriage because we're always working on the level of commitment that we want, period. It's not a negotiation. That's the foundation I was talking about. Okay. Okay, so those are the questions. Any more questions, my friends? I'm happy to answer anything else that's coming up. But marriage is a big deal right now. So if it's not working, I'm telling you, these full moons are really going to trip you up, because it's going to say, if you're not living your truth, I promise you, it will get pulled away because you're living someone else's truth, a parent's truth, a religion truth, a doctrine truth. And again, I'm not talking about God. God's saying, y'all have been sitting in boxes, living small and suffering and sacrifice. And that's not God. That's not source consciousness. That is not divine. God consciousness says, dream big, dream heaven, and dream to a non-negotiable dream, because I want all of it for you, not one. It's not linear, my friends. It's energetic, source, God, higher power consciousness, and God consciousness is love. So if it is sinning and small and hell, that is not love, which means you are in a linear timeline that is ego-based, not spiritual-based. And ego wants to win, and ego will not win when you choose God, source consciousness, love consciousness, which is now moment of truth and heaven. Hopefully that makes sense. I know this is kind of short. Like I said, any last questions, I'm going to throw them out there. But I want you guys to understand right now, it's really imperative you start changing your belief systems of how you speak to source, how you connect to source. So FYI, I promised all of you last week who were on the call, look what I got. So I showed you the test. This is the sample version, but this is my meditation journal, but it is live on Amazon. So we are live. So you can find this either, excuse me, on my website, or iDeserveItNow.com, or you can find it on Amazon, IDI, meditation journal, or my name. They'll all come up. So if you want to start, like, how do I do it? Even on the inside, I even made you a mini video explaining how to do it, how to do meditation journaling. So if you want to talk to spirit, you want to talk to God, you want to talk to source, and you feel like it's only one-sided, and you're praying and you're meditating and you're mantraing and you're putting it out there, but you're not hearing spirit back, right? This is weird to me because this is all I've ever done. So I finally made it easier for you to follow the book, right? So it's a journal, it's an openness, but it's telling you what to do at the top. So long story short, if you want to talk to spirit and you want spirit to talk back to you, you get to close your eyes and let spirit communicate. Write your question at the top and then start downloading and dialoguing with your higher self, with God, with angels, with spirit guides, whoever it is that's important to you, and it's your heaven, your truth and saying, I'd like some support. I'd like help. How do I get out of this relationship? How do I get out of this marriage? How do I get out of this friendship? How do I get out of this career? How do I make $1 million? God doesn't care about the money. God cares about your intention of heaven and love consciousness. That's it. That's source consciousness. Okay. I know this is hard for people, but this is how I was taking what you can't see in source and bringing it down so you can see it. Once you're done meditating, you can read yourself and go, oh my gosh, thank you. That's all Spirit asks, that you thank them. Okay. All right. All right. Looks like there's no other questions coming in, which is totally fine. I love you all. I just wanted to make sure that you all got this full moon coming up, guys. So it's going to be a big one. It's an awesome one. But remember, make sure you are very foundational in who you are, what your truth is in this now moment at all times, and do not negotiate. All right. I want to thank you guys for joining me. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. I love you all. Brightest blessings. You guys have a good night, and I'll see you on Monday. Take care.